Hi there guys and girls, I wanted to do a video about a movie that I just saw. I know I haven't done a movie review on this channel for so long, but I just saw It, the new Stephen King's It. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big It fan. I've always really liked the idea of It. I saw the mini series back in the 90s. I'll tell that story in a minute, but I'll just say I've never read the book. I'm not really a book guy. I just how I am with books. It's not that I can't read. I can read, right? But I have trouble focusing on just sitting still and reading a big thick book. I can't do it. I don't know, maybe I've got ADD or something. I probably do. I struggle with things a lot like this, and so for me to read a book is really fucking hard. And to give you an example, you guys know how much I fucking love Mortal Kombat, right? I've got the Mortal Kombat books. I got halfway through the first Mortal Kombat novel and I just couldn't read it anymore. You know what I mean? I just get what happens is I'll be reading, I'll start reading it and be fine, and then 10 minutes later, all the words just run into each other, and my brain then gets then I'm reading the same line over and over again, trying to correct what's going on, and then I get frustrated, and then I'm like, I'm not reading this anymore. That is how I cope with books, you know. And this doesn't happen if I'm reading a magazine or anything, unless it's a really lengthy article. There's been times where that's had, been a thing, but if it's just little things I can read, and it's funny, stuff on the internet I can read pretty much. When it's lengthy though, I can get that thing. So I just wanted to give you guys a background. I don't think I'm a stupid person because of it. It's just that the way I am, I don't know. I just have trouble sitting still, I guess. My brain is always just overthinking shit. That's why I love movies and TV, because I don't get that when I'm watching movies and TV. I can sit there and watch a movie, and even if I'm batshit bored by what is going on in the movie, I can still watch it, because there's so many aspects to a film that my brain likes to look at. You got the soundtrack, you got the acting, you got the cinematography, you got the plot, the lighting. There's just the directing. There's a million things that you can look at when you're watching a movie or a TV show that keep me fascinated. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's just, for me, the difference between books and TV and movies. And it's a shame, because I always hear people talk about, great books like Harry Potter and even the It book and American Psycho, which is a book I would love to read, but it's just something I can't do. So I watch those movies. I've got all the Harry Potters, I've got the American Psycho, and I've got It right here, the original from '93. Now, the story of It, for me, goes back to this VHS. Oh man. This is bringing back memories. Wow. Yeah. So when I lived in Queensland, I've told you guys this before, I lived in a different state. I lived in Queensland. My cousins lived in Melbourne. One year we came down to Melbourne to visit. Most of my family's always lived in Melbourne, right? But we were in Queensland. So one year we came down to Melbourne to visit the family. And on that visit, my cousins told me about It. About this killer clown that kills kids, and it's really scary and creepy. And this is the original Tim Curry one, right? And then I'm like, oh, it sounded really good. And then when I left Melbourne to drive back up to Queensland with the family, they gave me this VHS. Still got it. Because they had taped it off TV. And they said I could just have it. So I could watch it, you know. Because I didn't have... I don't remember the reason why. But they taped this off TV. Like, I can put it in and show you guys the it comes up like channel 7, which is like the channel that showed it here and everything. And it's funny because my cousin made this inlay, and I think I made my own one, but my own one was actually all wrong. And I'm just reversing it. I'm putting the original back because that one is the correct one. I don't know why I did that. It's kind of weird. I know I should be doing this on camera, but I just noticed that. Now it's originally how he gave it to me. So my cousin gives me this tape, and I all want to see it because my cousin used to like making covers for things. Oh shit! Got this thing with the lights in. Hang on a sec, guys. Let's see if that will shed some light on the subject. Yes, it will. Stephen King's It, MA 15+. And again on the side, It, and on the back, It. So, they give me the VHS, and I leave Melbourne. Now, I used to like doing this thing when we'd go on a family trip and be in the car. We'd stop at motels because, you know, to drive from Melbourne to Queensland's like a 3-day sort of trip in the car. You know, it'd be me on my Game Boy all day long, and then we'd get to the hotel, the motel or whatever, and that. And then, you know, me being the motel guy, I used to scout out the motel for games rooms, arcade machines, things to do and stuff. And one thing I used to like doing was hiring a VCR and watching a movie because I get bored. Because my parents would like do this thing where they'd like to go out because they'd go, you know, we'd be in some town that we're not from. So they'd like to go to some restaurant and they'd just like leave me in the hotel, in the motel room. He's got his Game Boy, he'll be fine. You know, which is pretty much true. But, because I had this video, I'm like, oh, hire a VCR. I forget where we were, but I got the VCR and they went off to their dinner. And I put this in and watched it and shit my fucking pants. Because I didn't like have nightmares, but it did make me kind of creeped out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I watched part 1, and I was by myself in a motel room. Like, my parents were out. I wasn't like young, but I don't know, teenager or something. And it creeped me out. It did, because Tim Curry's that fucking good, you know. And yeah, since then I've always liked this movie. And I think when I got back to Queensland, I watched the part 2. So a lot of people have talked about it lately because of this new movie. A lot of movie reviewers that I watched, you know, your Chris Stuckmans and your Jeremy Jans and people like that have reviewed. I watch them sometimes talk about movies. They've reviewed the old and the new sort of thing, and I think Chris Stuckman, well, he talked about the old one. So a lot of people have always commented about how it wasn't scary. Well, and that's always pissed me off because these are like young people who didn't grow up with it, and like they've gone back and watched it now and gone, that's not scary. But at the fucking time, it was really fucking scary. And I'll take that argument to bat because, like, even a lot of reviewers too always say, I like the first half, but the second half's not good. There's some really fucking scary shit in the second half of the original It. Like, I always remember that scene where it's when Ben comes back to town and he's grown up and he goes down into like where they play, like in the water, like the river that they call it the Barrens. They go down there. And then he has this flashback of when he was a kid and he saw Pennywise. Anyway, he has the same, I think it's at that moment, he has the same flashback and he sees this fucking skeleton just standing out there on the fucking lake. Like, just standing there on the middle of the... I always thought that was really fucking creepy. And then when one of the other guys comes to town, he sees It digging all the fucking graves, and he's like, you know, take your pick, you know, except the one on the end that's already taken, sorry. I always think that's really fucking creepy, because, like, that he hasn't found out yet that one of the original friends is dead, and that's why he says, except for the one on the end. And I always thought that's kind of cool foreshadowing and stuff. So there's some really cool stuff in the second one, in the second part. A lot of people say, you know, it's because of Tim Curry, and that's true. Tim Curry is a fucking driving force in, like, anything he's ever done. He's just such a great fucking actor. You know, even though there's a movie that I really like, a spoof movie called National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, and he's in that as, like, the henchman. And he's so great in that. Wilderness Girls. Anyway, yeah, so the original It, when it first came out on DVD, I bought this day fucking one. Day one. I had to have it, you know, because I've always really liked it, even the second part. And I knew what they were trying to do, even though it was a TV movie. A lot of people didn't like the ending. It's kind of like, you know, spoilers, but I mean, it's an old movie. It's Spider. And a lot of people hated that because they liked seeing the clown. They liked that he could be all these things to scare the shit out of people, you know, and then it just came to, oh, it's just a spider. But I think that's how it is in the book. It's a monster from an alien planet or something that crashed onto Earth, and like every 20, 30 years it feeds, sort of thing, you know, and it's landed in Derry, that's this town, you know. So a lot of people, yeah, like I said, a lot of people give this a bad rap. I don't think they like the adults as much as the kids, and I see that, and I think it's definitely a product of, like, there's a lot of movies that I grew up with, like The Goonies and stuff, that have great, like, packs of kids, you know. Like The Goonies is one of my favorite Richard Donner movies, you know, and that's the same with It. The kids are great in it, and then the adults, they're not as great, I'll be honest, in the original It, but I still think it was cool, you know. And I think a lot of these reviewers being way too rough on it, saying the second part, shit, I don't like the adults, you know. Some of the adults aren't that great, I guess, but, like, for the most part, they're good. So anyway, that's me, just, you know, just a bit of a recap of my history of, like, the original It. Like, I've always liked it. I even with my movie friends, I've mentioned how much I like It, and they were doing a remake. Oh, it's gonna suck. Oh, it's gonna suck. You know, yeah. You know, and I'm the guy who will always give a movie a chance. That Indiana Jones 4 movie, I gave it a fucking chance up until the Paramount Pictures logo appeared on the screen, and then it fucked me, you know. So, you know, I'll give any movie a chance. Do you know what I mean? Even if it turns out shit, like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So this one, I was the same. I'm like, that looks, you know, it looks good. And a lot of people hated this Bill Skarsgård when it first popped up. They're like, oh, you know, he doesn't look like Tim Curry. And I never thought that, not once. I thought he looked great. Because the original It talks about how he's been in the town a long time and stuff, you know, and this movie picks up all those details from the original and makes them perfect, legitimizes them. So, like, you know, when they talk about how it's been around for a while, like, you keep seeing the clown, he's in an older sort of clown outfit, which makes sense. And there's a lot of things that are mentioned in the original, like, you know, the bully's dad. Oh, my father's gonna kick my ass, you know, and you don't see him. But in this one, you see it, you know, and everything has a point. Everything's in it for a reason. And the way they did this new It was just perfect. Perfect. They took their time with it. They focused on all the kids. They gave all the kids their alone moment with It, where It tries to scare the fuck out of them, and then they sort of end up becoming a group, and eventually sort of taking it on while having to deal with, you know, the bully, you know, the abusive father, the parents that just don't care, you know. Everything in this movie was just so well done. I can't say that enough. And my favourite part of this movie, and I'm going to sound like a sicko here, but I love my movies. My favourite part of this movie is the fact that the movie is not afraid to hurt children. It's not. You know, so just before I go forward anymore, I should say spoilers, you know, because I don't want to ruin this movie for anyone who's thinking about seeing it. But I'm just going to say spoilers because I'm going to unleash now. This movie, it hurts kids. Like, yeah, a lot of movies were afraid to do it. They imply the violence. They always implied it. And I was saying that to my friends, my movie friends, you know, for the last few years, that they don't want to hurt kids anymore. It's too politically incorrect. They imply it every fucking time. But this movie does not. It shows the kids being attacked by it. It shows it like biting them on the fucking face and the kids screaming and blood coming out. You know, this was so fucking well done. This director had fucking balls. He wasn't afraid to go down that path, and it made it so much greater. It made, you know, every time it comes up on the screen, the movie has you by the balls. Because you're like, fuck, what's he gonna do, you know? And it was just, it was great, man. I finally got a remake that wasn't fucking dog shit, that wasn't fucking Ghostbusters, that wasn't fucking Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Finally, something good. And I was saying this again to my movie friends, that I thought that the It remake had a really good chance because the original wasn't ever like really well received. Like, for example, like Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters is a fucking masterpiece, and this new one was shit. You know, it's kind of obvious that it's going to be hard to top the original. Whereas this was a TV miniseries, and a lot of people didn't really like it. So I thought it's got that going for it, that this remake could possibly do really well if they take it seriously, take the source material seriously, and turn this into a feature film. And they did it, and they pulled it off, and this director knew what the fuck he was doing. The casting people knew what the fuck were doing. They cast all these kids were perfect in their roles, in their characters. The adults and the supporting cast were even good. You know, even Bill's dad, who you only see in one scene, he was good. Even Mr. Keen, the guy at the pharmacy, he was good. You know, everything, you know, the female bullies were good. The male bullies were good. Everything was perfectly cast. And Bill Skarsgård as It was fucking terrifying. He really was. It was a really, really good performance. This movie, like, I had almost a full theatre, and, you know, where I saw the movie, you get a lot of people on their phones and shit normally, and it drives me fucking crazy. But, you know the movie's good when people shut the fuck up, they're not talking, and they're not on their fucking phones. And that was this crowd. Like, this movie was good. It had everyone's attention. It really did. It didn't drag. You know, everything was done fucking magnificently. I could even pick up some of the sounds that it makes in the original in this new movie. I heard it. The exact squeal that it makes when it shows its deadlights in the original, I heard that in the sound in this movie. Because I've watched that so many fucking times. I know the sounds. And I heard there were 2 times where I heard sounds from the original, either score or sound effects from the original that were in this one. Just little shit like that. Just a bit of homage. You know, because the original, like it or hate it, people, man, you can't go wrong with Tim Curry. Even, see the glove hand, the original It cover, you know, I'm not going to come up to the camera, but the original cover where he's got like his like claw hands hanging over, I'm sure you've seen it online. Even that is referenced in the movie. Even that. Everything. And, you know, while this movie is a reboot of It, and it uses a lot of the scenes that we'd seen in the original, it added a whole lot of new scenes, and none of it was garbage, none of it was a waste. It was fantastic. I can't recommend this movie enough. As a big fan of it, I would say go watch this. It's a great movie. It really, really is. And, you know, because we're in spoilers, I can just say it. The movie ends with Chapter 1. It Chapter 1. So the movie knows that there's going to be a second chapter, you know, and the movie's killing it, apparently. I think we got it before America did, a day or two before. So the movie's been killing it here. Like, you know, I spoke to one of the workers at the cinema, and he said it's been full. Like, every session's been full. It came out today here, so it's killing it here. You know, they've got a blockbuster on their hands. And so, I don't know what more to say. I know I'm just kind of going in circles here, but I was just once again reiterating the cinematography, the acting, the sound design, the music, the plot, everything about this new version of It was perfectly executed. I can't say that enough. There was not one time, and I was trying to kind of pick up flaws. There wasn't really any that I could pick up on. Just because I don't want to seem like biased. Like, I'm racking my brain for something I didn't like in the movie. It's really hard. I really like this fucking movie. I can't think of anything. I mean, fuck. I honestly can't think of anything I didn't like in this movie. I can't. This was a really good fucking horror movie. This is up there with, like, The Conjuring and stuff. You know? No more. I'm not going to talk about this movie anymore. Go see it. If you like horror movies, if you like fucking killer clowns, if you like shitting your pants, go watch this movie. Oh, they did such a great job with it. I'm going to be seeing this movie again, for sure. It was really good. It was the It movie that we all wanted to see. Like, after, you know, people talk shit about the old one, and if you think about it, you're like, they could have fixed that, That's what this movie is. This is the original, but fixed, with the same plot points and stuff. You know, but everything was amped up, you know. Like I said, they weren't afraid to hurt the kids, man. They weren't afraid to do it. You know, a lot of people would be turned off by that shit. You know, I'll even say it. I saw Terminator 2 when it first came out about a month ago in 3D. I actually saw it again before it went off. But I won a free ticket to an advanced screening about a month ago and saw T2 3D. In that, you know, I love Terminator 2. It's my favourite movie. In the scene where Sarah Connor is shooting at Miles, right? Someone in the cinema, not near me, I found this out after from someone else, a woman, I think it was a woman in the cinema, said, "Oh, this is disgusting, this violence against black people," and she got up and she walked out of the fucking movie. Can you believe that shit? You know, and I just use this as an example, as this is where we are now. Some people just are all about this political correctness and this social justice warrior crap. You know, they can't just look at a movie and see a movie, and they have to judge everything, you know, as a negative, you know, and that's where I'm saying this is what's so great about It. They took a big fucking risk, because a lot of people could say, oh, this is disgusting, this movie shows kids being, you know, mutilated and attacked by this monster and stuff, you know, and you see it shows bullies, you know, carving, you know, cutting other kids with a knife in it. You know, a lot of people could say that this is really bad and this is really shocking. You know, fuck all that shit. That's what is so great about this movie. It had balls, and it had balls to do the movie properly, and it doesn't apologize for it. So yeah, guys, trust me, go see fucking It. It was a really, really good movie, and I had a blast. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time, and I'm going to be putting up some videos soon, so stay tuned. Peace out.